Tomorrow morning, a piece of glass and metal next to your bed is going to make a sound.
An alarm, a vibration, a synthetic chime. Something external will decide that your night is over, pulling you out of consciousness.
And when it happens, you will probably feel terrible. You'll hit snooze. You'll drag yourself out of bed feeling like you're fighting your own biology. But for 99.9% of human history, that sound didn't exist. There were no alarms, no clocks, no concept of 7 a.m.
Your ancestors didn't just wake up randomly. They woke up consistently. They woke up alert, and they did it without trying.
So how did they do it? And more importantly, why have we completely lost the ability to do the same?
The answer changes how we understand sleep, biology, and the violence we do to our brains every single morning.
Let's start with a biological reality. For most of human history, time wasn't a number. It was just light and dark.
Your ancestors didn't wake up at a specific time. They woke up at a specific moment, and that moment is still programmed into your DNA. Inside your brain, resting just above where your optic nerves cross, is a tiny cluster of roughly 20,000 cells called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. But it doesn't track light the way you see the world. Deep inside your eyes, separate from the rods and cones that let you see colors and shapes,
you have a completely different set of light detectors. They are called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells. These cells contain a photopigment called melanopsin, and they have one purpose: to measure the brightness of the sky. Every morning, as the sun begins to rise, the ambient light in the room changes. Even with your eyelids firm, within milliseconds, they fire an electrical signal down a dedicated neural cable directly to the SCN. Instantly, a chemical cascade begins. First, your brain halts the production of melatonin. Second, it raises your core body temperature. And third, it initiates a phenomenon known as the cortisol awakening response. About 30 to 45 minutes before you actually open your eyes, your adrenal glands start flooding your bloodstream with cortisol. Not the cortisol associated with chronic stress, but a vital activating surge.
It slightly increases your heart rate. It raises your blood pressure. Most importantly, it begins shifting your brain waves. It pulls you out of deep, slow-wave sleep and transitions you into lighter stages of sleep. You were never meant to wake up instantly.
You were built to be brought up slowly, like a submarine gradually rising to the surface of the ocean. Ancient humans experienced this fully.
When the sun rose, light flooded their environment. There was no scrolling in bed, no blackout curtains.
And when it finished, they simply opened their eyes. But biology is only half the story. The other half is something entirely social.
Something anthropologists only fully understood a few years ago. Ancient humans didn't always wake up to the sun.
Sometimes they had to wake up earlier, to hunt, to travel, to avoid the midday heat. In 2017, anthropologists studying the Hadza hunter-gatherers in Tanzania, a group living very similarly to our early ancestors, discovered a phenomenon called the sentinel hypothesis. They tracked the sleep patterns of the tribe and found that ancient sleep wasn't perfectly synced.
It was staggered. Across an entire group, there were only about 18 minutes a night when everyone was asleep at the same time. The reason some of us are naturally early birds and others are night owls aren't a modern inconvenience. They are an evolutionary survival trait.
Some people naturally stayed up late tending the fire. Others naturally woke up hours before dawn. Waking up wasn't an individual burden.
It was a shared environmental one. If someone woke up early, the camp would slowly come alive.
The stirring of the fire, the crunch of footsteps, the low murmur of conversation. Your environment would gently pull you out of sleep. You didn't wake up to a machine. You woke up to your people. So, what killed this ancient, perfectly tuned system? The same thing that killed the night sky. Artificial light. When we electrified the world, we didn't just conquer the darkness. We completely confused our biology. Today, you stare at blue light-emitting screens until 11 p.m.
Those melanopsin cells in your eyes absorb that light and tell your suprachiasmatic nucleus that it is still the middle of the afternoon. This delays your melatonin onset by hours. Your internal clock is pushed wildly out of alignment with the actual rotation of the Earth. Your brain thinks you are going to sleep at 3 p.m., so when your 7 a.m. alarm rolls around, your body isn't preparing to wake up. In fact, it's often in the middle of stage 3 slow-wave sleep. During this stage, your brain is pulsing with high-amplitude delta waves. Your blood pressure is at its lowest, your muscles are practically paralyzed, the cortisol awakening response hasn't even started, and then your alarm goes off.
It doesn't wake you up, it shatters your sleep architecture. Being ripped out of deep sleep forces your brain to instantly shift from low-frequency delta waves to high-frequency beta waves.
It is a violent neurological gear shift. It floods your body with panic-inducing adrenaline rather than natural cortisol. Worse, your brain hasn't finished its nightly cleaning cycle. Throughout the day, a neurochemical called adenosine builds up in your brain, creating sleep pressure. The only way to clear adenosine is to sleep.
But when your alarm truncates your sleep cycle, a massive amount of adenosine is let sitting in your brain's receptors. This is what causes sleep inertia.
That profound feeling of grogginess, disorientation, and irritability. Studies show that when woken abruptly from deep sleep by an alarm, your cognitive performance is significantly impaired for up to 2 hours. You are essentially operating with a mild concussion just because of how you woke up. We have built a world where your body cannot do what it evolved to do. You don't wake up because your body is ready.
You wake up because something forces you to. And the strangest part? The ancient programming is still inside you, completely intact. In a landmark 2013 study, a prominent sleep researcher at a well-known university took a group of modern, gadget-obsessed humans
and sent them camping in the Rocky Mountains for 1 week. No smartphones, no flashlights, just campfires and the sun.
Within just 7 days, everyone's biological clocks completely synced to the solar day. The researchers measured their dim light melatonin onset, the moment the brain starts preparing for sleep, and found it had shifted backward by over 2 hours. Their bodies started producing melatonin right at sunset, and in the morning, the cortisol awakening response happened perfectly. Every single participant started waking up naturally, slightly before sunrise.
Alert, refreshed, no alarm required. For hundreds of thousands of years, every human who came before you trusted it was automatic, reliable, effortless. They didn't wake up on time, they woke up with time. And somewhere along the way, we traded that profound, natural awakening for a piece of glass that screams at us in the dark.